Hey everybody, so I was online the other day and I saw probably the fifth or sixth post in my RPod group of water getting in through this area around here. Um, so I decided to just cut a little square out of the corner down there, and I'm glad I did because when I cut it out, I saw that. So, I mean, it looks bad, but you know, the floor's it's hard. There's no sponginess. It's separating a little bit down here, but nothing that I don't think can be saved because if I cut this out, there's styrofoam glued underneath there, which is going to be hard to get to or get off of. And there's only really two supports on the floor. I believe it's right there where the metal thing is, and right here where the metal thing is. So if I were to cut this out, I would actually have to cut this entire section out. And honestly, I'm afraid that if I did that, I would hurt it worse than I helped it. So I'm just going to disinfect with mold disinfectant. I'm going to put some kilts over top of it to seal in any mold. Well, I'm going to disinfect it a few times, so hopefully there won't be any mold, but I'm going to disinfect, I'm going to put kilts on top of it, I'm going to put wood hardener on it, I'm going to glue that piece back together, and then I think it'll be good. I think I did that out of order, but I'll show you. One thing I noticed was it looks like water was coming in through the electrical outlet because I see some stainage directly underneath, but there's none above. There's like a rubber type gasket. Not even a rubber, I don't even know. It's like a sponge type gasket going around that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to silicone it because it definitely looks like that may have been where, I mean, by the flow of things, it looks like it came in that corner, which it's weird because I don't see anything. I'm going to redo the silicone over there anyways, but definitely looks like a little bit got through the rubber gasket. So I'm going to reseal around there, and I'm going to reseal around the door just to be safe. So stay tuned. Okay, so I got this at Home Depot. Some other people recommended it. I forgot to mention that when I cut out the linoleum, I just cut it as close to the wall as possible. Make sure you don't push down too hard because if the plywood is damp underneath, you can cut straight through the plywood. So, yeah, it says on the back to just spray this on and then wipe up afterwards. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna let it dry, and then I'm gonna probably do it 2 or 3 more times. So, there we go. Actually, let me get some protection on. Okay, so I just got through the first round of scrubbing. It's already looking better. Some of that stuff just came right up when I scrubbed it off. It's drying out now. And like I said, I'm going to do 2 more coats. I know it's kind of overkill, but I just want to make sure I kill everything. So 2 more coats. Once it dries out, I'm going to let this dry all the way out. Come in, spray it 2 more coats. And then I'm going to be putting down the wood hardener after that. Alright, so I have it pretty dried out, so I'm about to do the second round of disinfecting. It's looking pretty good so far. You know, I know finding this type of stuff can be pretty discouraging, but if you own an RV that's over 4 years old, you can pretty much expect, you know, problems to come up. So you need to be willing to address them, and you know, there's plenty of resources online, you know, such as this video that will guide you pretty much step by step on how to fix this. So hopefully this helps, and you know, these are just assets at the end of the day. They're meant to have fun with. They're not meant to cause stress in our lives. So just have fun with it and do the best you can, and RV another day. Alright, so I've done 2 rounds of scrubbing. It's looking really good. Looks like all the mold's dead. I'm gonna go over it with a sander just to try to get some of the staining out. And then I'm going to, there's a part that's raised up right here. I'm gonna glue that down with Gorilla Glue. I'm going to inject it in there, let that dry. And then I'm going to paint it with some kilts to create a barrier. Oh, actually no, I'm going to put wood hardener on it, even though it is hard already. Yeah, it's not very soft. So I'm going to put wood hardener on it, and then I'm going to paint it with kilts. And this is where people say that, like, you shouldn't maybe just take the entire thing out. But there's a few reasons why I don't. One, because if I'm able to kill the mold, I'm able to coat it so it can't grow again. That's almost better than another piece of plywood that could possibly get wet and mold again. This is a surface that's not going to be able to mold, or theoretically it's not going to be able to mold, because it's going to be. I think that wood hardener has the filler in it, and I don't think that's really a moldable material, and then the kilts is going to make it so it's a mold barrier. So hopefully this will be better than replacing it. At least that's my thought. If you disagree with me, let me know. But yeah, I'm going to sand down just the stained spots just to make it look a little bit better, and then I'm going to drill some small holes in various places, and then I'm going to inject it full of glue just to make sure that it's all sticking back down, and then I'm going to put the wood hardener on it. Now I'm going to fill this syringe up with wood glue. I'm using this waterproof wood glue by Gorilla Glue. Okay, so I injected glue into anywhere where it was raising up and separating, and then I put some weights on it, and I'm going to let it sit overnight. Then I'm going to come back in and I'm going to touch it up a little bit more, and then I'm going to do the wood hardener. Okay, so I injected glue into any of the pieces that were raised up. I drilled holes in the floor, and then I took my little syringes and just injected glue in there. It looks messy right now, but that's fine because I'm going to paint over it with the Kilts mold coating paint. Now I'm going to sand all this up so it's cleaned up with my little sander. And then I'm going to put wood hardener on one small spot of it, like the worst spot, just to see how it reacts. If it has a horrible reaction, then I'll just replace that spot, but hopefully it'll be good, and then I can do the entire thing with wood hardener. I'm going to do the entire section, even the parts that aren't that good, that impacted, just to make it stronger than it was before. Alright, so I got this wood hardener, I got this open for ventilation. I noticed there's still some spots that need to be glued down. For the most part it's really good, but there is a couple spots, but I'm worried that this wood hardener will actually disintegrate the glue. So I'm going to try putting some wood hardener on before I do any more gluing. And I'm just gonna try it on a small piece and then see how it works. Let that dry, and then I'll come back and do the rest of it tomorrow if it works well. But yeah, I'm using a ventilator, and I'm using eye protection, and I'm actually going to read the directions. I know guys are probably not used to this, but I think it's good for doing something like this. So I'm going to paint it on with a paintbrush, follow the directions on the thing, and I will report back. Okay, so it's the next day. This is really hard now. It did not dissolve the wood glue, so if I were to do this again, I would finish the gluing before doing this piece, but seems like after it hardens, it kind of hardens lifted up, so like you should definitely glue first. I don't think it would be an issue finishing the gluing. There's just a couple spots that need to be touched up, so I'm gonna finish the gluing, and then I'm going to I'm only gonna harden the spots that were really impacted, so just all of this and over here a little bit, and then I'll be painting. Oh yeah, and then just make sure you don't get this on any sort of plastic. I was using a plastic cup and it dissolved straight through it. So there's styrofoam right under this, and there's no doubt in my mind that it will dissolve through the styrofoam as well. So you might want to try to avoid getting it on that, so just so you don't dissolve out your entire floor. Alright y'all, so there was still quite a bit of holes after I injected glue in, so I use this wood filler stuff. It dries extremely fast. You mix it 1 to 50, and then you probably have about 2 to 3 minutes to wipe it down after that. I know it looks dark, and that's not mold, that's actually the wood hardener. The wood hardener turns the floor super dark, but it is super hard now. I've sanded it down a couple times. It doesn't look as good as I thought or I want it to, but I'm about to paint it, so I don't really care. The main thing is it's not soft. I've killed the mold, and yeah, and I've stopped the leak. The leak was coming through this outside socket. This isn't permanent. I just put this over here because I was just testing around to see if I could find out where the leak was, and as soon as I put tape over this, the leak stopped. So I know it's right here. I'm gonna redo the caulk here. But next step is the paint, and then I will follow up after I'm done the paint, and then I'm laying down the sheet vinyl. All right, I'm all taped up, and I'm ready to paint. Okay, I got done the first coat of paint. It's looking good so far. I'm gonna do 1 or 2 more coats just to make sure I got it good.